Hi, my name is May, and I want to share how my teenage son overcame 5 years of anxiety and depression in just 5 sessions with Stress.SG. My son Elliot experienced a traumatic incident in June 2015 that left him with severe PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder. He was one of the survivors of the Sabah earthquake. My son lost 7 of his schoolmates, one of whom was his best friend and 2 teachers. Some of Singapore's leading psychologists were engaged to help the children. When they returned to Singapore, my son saw a trauma psychologist. Treatment stopped sometime after 3 months, but the trauma didn't go away, which affected my son's performance in school and friendships with peers. He was afraid to make friends due to the fear of losing them, and he would stop himself from feeling happy due to feelings of guilt. As a mother, I felt sadness and helplessness on seeing my son suffer silently. My son tried his best to keep his chin up and live life as normally as possible these many years, and I am so proud of his efforts. But I can see that deep down, the depression never left him even after 10 sessions with the trauma specialist. Recently, as he entered higher tertiary education, it became worse. He would become anxious, easily stressed, inability to sleep, and started to have mild depression. He was not motivated in studying, and he changed into a morose, depressed, and uncommunicative person. This set off alarm bells, and my husband and I contemplated taking him back to see the psychologist. But my son refused to, as he felt that the psychologist could not help him. Desperate, we searched around and stumbled upon Chris and his therapy session for teenagers. We researched further, read other clients' testimonials, and contacted Chris. After having a conversation over the phone with Chris, we felt very hopeful that Chris would be able to help Elliot. Chris recommended the 5-session anxiety counseling and therapy for teenagers. In just 2 sessions, which I recalled was over a weekend, the first being a Saturday and the second session on a Sunday, we could see the positive changes in our son. The anxiousness, the stress, the depression disappeared. He started sleeping well and he became a more cheerful person. It was like we had our son back. When we saw the changes in Elliot from just 2 sessions with Chris, I felt joy and hope. The change I saw in Elliot in just 2 sessions with Chris was more than all the 10 sessions combined with the trauma specialist. The most positive change was when Elliot became more motivated in his studies and started putting in hard work to study, which showed in his subsequent class tests with marked improvements. Never have we seen him so motivated in studying, even setting his alarm clock on weekends to wake up early to study. He has never done that before. Chris was instrumental in helping Elliot manage his stress, reducing his anxiety and depression. It was a momentous day when Chris informed us that grief still lingered since the trauma incident. Grief is a powerful emotion and is never easy to process, but in just a few sessions, Chris caught on to that and incorporated the healing process into Elliot's program. Never in a million years would we think that grief would hamper Elliot's true potential in life. My son had no closure from the events that happened in the past, which in turn affected him so profoundly over the past 5 years. Today, we can confidently say that Chris has helped Elliot overcome his anxiety, grief and depression, and given him the closure he so desperately needed, so he can move on to become a confident person. This is the genius of Chris, being able to pinpoint exactly what was in Elliot's subconscious and how to treat it. The grief was buried so deeply that even we, his parents, could not know that it contributed to his lack of motivation and anxiety. I doubt that Elliot even knew how it had affected him all these years. Once this was resolved, it profoundly changed Elliot, and he told me that he finally had a sense of awareness of how it had impacted his life. When engaging Chris, I read some clients saying that the program is costly. Yes, the program is costly, but worth every penny. No mother would want her child to suffer. As a parent, when you see your child in depression, anxious, unmotivated, and struggling with everyday life, the cost becomes unimportant if you put things in perspective. We as parents were more anxious to help our son overcome his problems, which outweighed the cost of the program. We believed in the program. As a counselor, Chris is very intuitive. I felt that he instinctively understood what Elliot was going through, and he confidently told me upfront that he was able to help my son. His words filled me with hope and confidence. The reason I'm sharing my story with you is because there is an unspoken cost to anxiety and depression. We realized this when we saw how our son changed once the anxiety and depression was lifted. I hope that by sharing my story, it will give other parents like you the confidence to enroll your child with Chris' program. I could not recommend Chris highly enough, and we are truly grateful to Chris for helping Elliot turn his life around to be a stronger person.